What up, Slick? How you living? Sunday. Happy Sunday. We're here for our Oracle energy forecast for the week using the Oracle of Oddities, editions 1, 2, and 3, smushed together as one deck. How is everyone? I had a good night at the restaurant. No crazy events tonight, just pretty straightforward Sunday night dinners with fams, couples on dates. I actually they told me I got a review last night from a couple that was on a first date, and they had a wonderful time. The food was apparently a religious experience. Their service, they were just over the moon with it, and they were so happy with their experience that they took their dessert home and had sex. So it's like they were they like strongly hinted at that. They didn't use the S word, but that's what they were, like wink wink, like we took the dessert home, if you know what I mean. So I'm just like, spreading the love. Spreading the light out in the world. I mean, I've told you guys the stories before about my tables, like making out and like things at the table. Like, this is not unusual for me. People get very randy. I don't know whether it's just the sultry environment of the restaurant. Maybe it's something I'm doing. I don't know. I do wear a potion that I make to work that I brewed up in the spring, and it's called Sprung, and it has all of the energy of that Ace of Wands spring vibes. It's like got inspiration and energy and mojo and horniness and like abundance and wealth and all these vibes, and so it's like always good to wear to work because I always have like a rockin' shift when I have it on. But then like if I put my, combinations on right, because I put each component on separately in layers, like I anoint myself before I leave. And yeah, I mean, sometimes the shifts that I wear this are crazy and people are just like making out and whatnot. So I don't know. Hopefully my potion rubbed off on them and that's what helped them have such a nice date. I hope that it works out for them. All right, so let's find out what kind of energy we can look forward to this week. I'm curious about how December is developing. I know that like Sagittarius and Jupiter are really expanding us in fortunate ways. Anywhere that we give Jupiter like a vessel to expand, it will. So put in the effort, the things that you put in effort towards, and the doors that you open and the portals that you open this moon cycle, this month, that's what Jupiter's going to be able to expand. So just know that as you expand and as you up level, you have this opposing force that becomes more refined and more evolved and more up leveled with you. And so it becomes more subtle and more, I don't know, sometimes harder to discern and harder to detect. And it's going to be, things that'll come up and then they'll sneak in and just trigger you about things in such a way where like there's so many great things to celebrate right now and things to be proud of and things to really take a minute to appreciate about this year. I know a lot of us have, taken a lot of risks. We have made a lot of huge changes. We've tried new things. We've put ourselves out there and we've grown a lot. We've come a long way. And so we shouldn't just glaze over that and not stop to take a minute to really appreciate the blessings and, the grace that we have enjoyed, but also to just tell ourselves, thank you for showing up for me, and caring and, putting all this effort in. And so the opposing force that always up levels with us to keep us, you know, it's like always going to be our antagonizing character in our unfolding plot forever. So it's going to get more refined with us, and it's just going to want to try to, you know, shit in our cereal, to ruin the good moment, to keep us sidetracked so that we don't continue to expand and up level and start bringing our A game and start making an impact and start growing our ideas and our dreams and our goals, right? That's the objective of the opponent, is to stop us, is to slow us down, is to keep us small. So as we catch ourselves being triggered or falling prey to illusion, and I think that, you know, over the last couple of days, tell me if I'm wrong, but have you seen sort of the clouds breaking around maybe some issues in your life that you, like, there was maybe some smoke, you know, hovering, and you're like, oh no, where's the fire? But maybe it's like it turned out to only be a small fire, like at the restaurant, where it was like contained really quickly and like there was really nothing. It was just like, it was all just a bunch of smoke and mirrors, right? So there's been a bunch of things like that happening recently to distract you from this grand new start, from this expansion, from this lucky moment. This opponent has wanted to pull you off your game, so you're not going to take advantage of all of this momentum and support behind you, right? And when you're afraid, when you're insecure, when you're upset, when you're confused, when you're bewildered, you're not focused on your goals and on your game. Even if you're sitting there trying to be, you're not at your best. You're not in your prime state to be planting seeds from, right? And so even though we've been waiting for this moment to come and try to trip us up, even though we've been expecting it, it's still hard not to fall into that once you're in that moment, and the feelings start coming in, and the thoughts, and, you know, the catastrophizing and everything. But maybe you've noticed over the past few days that these situations that you thought were, you know, really scary or a big deal, it's like you've had time to wrap your mind around it. You know, things haven't been as overwhelming, or maybe nothing was as it seemed anyway, or it was all just like your imagination running wild with you, or maybe some of the things resolved, or just the fog is starting to lift and things are, you know, there's starting to become more and more clear, or more clarity around situations. So that is, I believe, Neptune going in direct, the planet of dreams and illusions and the ethereal realms and the astral realms. It's like it's going direct. So there was a moment, you know, when it was in retrograde where things were very confusing, or we were kind of like had this like illusion pulled over everything, and things maybe weren't quite as they seemed. But I think that things are becoming more clear now, and I think that slowly but surely, like, the blocks are being moved and there's going to be forward motion. We're going to be able to expand, but we're just going to have to stay aware of that opponent who's always going to be on that left shoulder, sitting there, you know, trying to pull us in the other direction. But we always have that angel on our right shoulder too. So, you know, ask your angels, ask your, you know, your spirit, ask the Holy Spirit, ask all of that angelic and heavenly guidance to help you, and use your mouth to ask out loud. It's very powerful, because when we use our words, we're taking something from nothing and making it material. We're taking a spark that was completely abstract, that became a thought, an idea, and then we have taken it from non-material and brought it into the material realm, right, with sound. So, very powerful act there. All right, let's see what we can expect from the week ahead. So getting at that, my prediction before we even get the cards is that I think this week will be expansive. I think that the energy will be lighter than it was last week, but I still think that there will be moments of anxiety and insecurity, but you just have to stay one step ahead of your ego and just remind yourself not to get sucked into the narrative. You can say out loud how you feel and process and acknowledge those feelings and metabolize them. Don't hold them in, don't deny them. But just don't get caught up in the ego story. This is the card that flipped over as I was finishing that sentence. Ego. Hi, I came to ruin your week. How's it going? What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about me? Are you thinking about all your worries, your fears? Hopefully you're feeling insecure. Do you feel foolish about everything you said or did? It's like, don't go there. Don't go there. Are you worried about your future? Is everything looking blank? Are you just standing on the edge of oblivion? Chainsaw dancing in desperation. Screaming into the void. Ah! It's okay. Pause. Take a breath. All right. So what are we going to do about this ego? Sorrow. Wonderful. I can't wait. Something's going to be horribly devastating. Wonderful. Maybe our ego is going to try to start throwing a big pity party and being all sad and like taking you down into that spiral, but do not let it. Good things are happening, big changes, new beginnings, fresh starts. Just let all of this old pent-up emotion purge through and let it go. Ready to offload sadness. Okay, what do we need to be aware of about this ego, this fear, the sadness, passion? Okay, so in the creation phases 1, 2, 3, and 4. In phase 1, you have a passive desire, right? Maybe a little bit of an inspiration, an idea, but no real desire to do what it takes to make it happen. No motivation to really change yourself or push yourself further or expand or go out of your comfort zone or go out of your way or make an effort. It's just like, that'd be nice. If somebody handed you the thing, you'd be like, great, thank you. But it wouldn't be deeply fulfilling, right? Because you didn't have to fight for it. In phase 2, we realize that we do want that thing, but we're willing to go through a process of earning, an initiation, so to speak. So where we earn the vessel, whatever that might be. In creation phase 3, so phase 2 is like act 2, where the character is like in that montage of like, I'm studying, I'm working out, I'm like eating the right foods. They're like trying to train to get ready. They're doing all the work. They're making changes in their personality. They're confronting their demons. Like all of those things, you're like putting in the effort. You are working after work to start your business and doing all that stuff and taking the risk and putting the time and the energy and the resources in. So you're creating an active desire. However, you're not seeing any results yet. And so in phase 3, it's like you're giving, but you're realizing that even though you made the big sacrifice, even though you did that big thing and you put yourself out there, you took that chance and you took the risk, even though you changed and you went against all odds and you still pulled through and you did it and you think you're gonna get your thing. And it doesn't appear that it's going to work out. Even though you did all the things right and you gave and you gave and you gave, it's going to seem bleak, like nothing is going to work out and it's all going to blow up in your face. And that is the initiation. That is the test. Because in that moment, you have to dig deep into your passion and you have to be committed and devoted no matter what, even if there's no payoff, even if you fail, even if there's nothing given in return. It's like at that moment you realize that your heart's really in it and that you have passion for this thing. It gives you a sense of purpose and you have purpose in doing it. And even if there's no results, even if there's no payoff, it's like you're like, I'm still going to do this. I'm not going to give up. I would rather die trying than throw in the towel. That's that attitude. It's the phase 3 is finding perseverance and determination and stick-to-itiveness and fortitude and like cutting your teeth and, you know, cutting your claws and getting a thick skin and continuing to show up and continuing to give and to share outside of your comfort zone to make it happen. So when you keep pushing through in phase 3, even though you don't expect any results and you're sort of surrendered and you're like, I'm doing this whether or not it works out or not, like let the chips fall where they may, say la vie, that's when you open the doors for the manifestation to come through, to crystallize. Because at that moment you realize that the satisfaction and the fulfillment is not in having the thing realized anyway. It's the process. It's being in it, right? The fulfillment is already there for the taking in every moment. It's not anything outside of you that's going to give it to you. It's not going to be when the experience happens, then I'll feel fulfilled. Because you can get your manifestation and not even really, it's like when it's like that depression people get when they're like, oh, I got my dream and I thought it was going to be everything I ever wanted. And then it was like nothing really changed and my life was still the same. And I still felt the same. It's the same person, you know. It's like that's when you get your manifestation, but there's no fulfillment. But in phase 4 of if you really want to be a creator and manifest, it's like you want to manifest the thing and have the fulfillment, the feeling of satisfaction with the realization of the materialization of the thing. So you have to push through the feeling of disappointment, the feeling of fear, lack, doubt, uncertainty, the insecurity, thinking that it all blew up in your face, the heartbreak of feeling like it didn't work out, being disappointed, thinking it was all for nothing. Push through that. Find the passion within to keep believing, to keep hope alive, to keep making an effort to make those dreams come true, to make those goals come true, to follow your heart, to follow the direction of your soul. It doesn't mean you can't pivot, you know, maybe like an idea, you know, you decided it's not going to work out or whatever, but there's still a purpose or a calling within you that keeps driving you to move forward, even if you're like, okay, that's not going to work, but you know what? I have an idea. This can come in, and you know what I mean? So like be adaptable. It's not to say like you have to double down and never like change. You know, I think some people get confused and they think, oh, I'm going to double down the way I am and be even more stubborn and stick to my guns. But really maybe what they're asking is to do like a 180 and it's not what they're expecting. You know what I mean? So tune in, be willing to go with the flow and like take life as you find it right now and be adaptable, but hold on to that deep desire and keep grinding down resistance, because it's always going to be there and it's not a sign for you to give up. It's just a test. The universe is testing you to see what your grit is, what your mettle is, how sturdy and wide and deep is this vessel? What can you contain? How strong is your faith? How deep is your self-worth, right? Okay, let's see what our last card is for the week. I mean, what a mixed bag. We've got sorrow, we've got ego, we got passion. Hopefully we're not passionately angry and sorrowful. Okay, all right, what is our last card for the week? And reflect. And then reflect on all of this. Definitely, I mean, pay attention to these triggers and feelings coming up. Something is hiding or lingering below the surface that needs to be reflected on. That is going to be, it's like we need to break through these shells of negativity. We need to offload limiting beliefs. Old subconscious patterning, old wounds, old pain that we haven't really ever processed or felt, complexes we can just let go of, like that aren't serving us at all. reflect on all of these things that are in the subconscious that are coming up to be reviewed, and let them go once and for all, right? And dive into the expansion of this month, of this moment. Stay focused on your dreams, stay focused on your goals, and keep stoking that passion within your heart. Because in order to get what you want, in order to make it happen, in order for anything to manifest, you have to have a very strong desire to create the magnetism that will bring it into your realm, right? And always be reflecting regularly, tuning in for divine guidance. Take your time, give yourself quiet time to actually listen and receive. And then when you have those pings come up, those downloads, those instincts to like take an action, when the time feels right, trust it and take the action. If you are on the fence about it, or maybe you're wondering if it's in your head, or you feel confused, pause, wait. Because the opponent always makes things more complicated and more confusing than they need to be. When it's coming from the light, it's simple, it's direct. It's a quiet, calm, simple voice that speaks with compassion and love and generosity and understanding. But it does have boundaries. It does have, standards. It does have, it has a firm voice sometimes. But it's not going to be a fearmonger. It's not going to be shameful. It's not going to make you feel guilty or, doubt yourself. So just take your time as you're getting to know how to discern your intuition. Breathe, ask yourself why the situation is playing out. Everything that plays out, even if it feels unfair or unjustified, there's a message lingering in that for you. To some degree. So always be asking, okay, why is this in my movie? Why is this playing out this way? If this is playing out for my highest good, what message would I take away from this moment if the creator was trying to send me a message through this person, right? Okay, guys. Well, I think that I hope we get through this week. I really I'm not thrilled when I see these two cards. So I will say this. I think that one thing that will help us all, and that has been helping me, is to make it a regular practice to pray out loud. Consciously taking those moments in the day to take a few minutes to use my voice and say that prayer out loud. It's been really helping. And sometimes things are answered within a day or within hours even. So use your voice, offload and unburden your heart to God. Ask for what you want. Ask for what you need. Tell God about your worries. Tell God about your sorrows, right? Unload that. And unburden and clear your heart. All right, you guys. Good luck out there this week. Godspeed.